Hey guys, welcome back to Ironside Ranch. So, things are getting even more and more crazy. Jeff Bezos now is warning Americans not to buy products. And this is really interesting. Jeff Bezos, right? So, in case you've been living under a rock, he's the guy that owns Amazon, right? And so Jeff Bezos, one of the richest men in the world. I think he's number two, right? Or number two, number three, something like that. One of the very wealthiest men in the world. I know this changes all the time, depending on who has more money: Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, whatever. So, but anyway, so I think right now he's number two, but it doesn't really matter. One of the richest men in the world, and who's made his living and his billions and has made his wealth off of you buying trinkets, right? You buying a lot of stuff. Now, some stuff that you need, because Amazon does have great products. So Amazon sells stuff that you need and stuff that you don't need. And he has made his living off of you buying things. And this guy has come out and is warning you not to purchase things because of the dangers of the economy that we're headed to. So this is really interesting. So he's telling you not to use his business because you have a lot harder times coming in front of you. And he's always said, he has a famous quote that inflation is a tax on the middle class. The wealthy don't feel it near as much as everybody else does. So, and this is really interesting stuff because Bezos is telling us that, hey, my business, even though I make my living and my millions doing this, you guys need to be careful because you're going to be the ones that are affected the most, and you need to not purchase from my business right now anything other than what you actually need, not want. And so he's telling us to be careful. Now, the other thing that I find interesting about this is that Bezos has his hand in the logistics, right? The supply chain network, in being a retail environment. He's got people in the know that are going to know things before we do, right? But that are going to know what's going on in this economy, what the plans are. To think that somebody in that much power doesn't have political influence is just it's just naive. Actually speaking, it's just naive to think that somebody with that much money does not have any political influence and does not know what's going to go on in this market. I think is naive. He knows he has got his hands in so many pots and with so many different people to know what's going on. And when a guy like this comes out and gives a warning, it's definitely something we should pay attention to. Now, we saw, about 18 months ago or so, that he was selling off a bunch of his stocks, a bunch of his Amazon stock and everything. I thought that was really interesting too. And he timed it right at the top, right? So maybe, he was right there at that crest of the market, and then we start coming down. We saw a dead cat bounce. So some of us got out during that dead cat bounce, but the fact is that he saw it all before it was happening. So this is somebody that is not playing with luck, right? He didn't get wealthy because of his luck. He got wealthy because he's smart. He made a series of good decisions. Now, he got somewhat lucky in the amount of wealth he amassed, right? There's obvious connotations with that because not everybody could have just gone out and started an online retailer, even making the same decisions that he did, and amass that much wealth. But the fact that he was able to be successful and wealthy is because he made good decisions over time, and he has continually done so. And that's what's interesting about this. He's continually made good decisions over time, and he's telling us, y'all need to be careful. Y'all need to watch your spending and not buy big ticket items. Specifically what he mentioned was TVs and new vehicles. Now is not the time to go into debt. Now is not the time to be spending $1,000, $2,000 on a new OLED TV screen, especially when, can y'all really tell the difference? I can't. Maybe I'm just not finicky enough, but I can't tell the difference that much between like a 4K and an LED or whatever, the OLED. I don't know. I'm not a techie guy though. So either way, point is not to get out there and spend a bunch of money. Pay attention to guys like Jeff Bezos and what they're doing with their money. What are guys like this telling us to do, and does it make sense? And in this case, it does, because he's telling you to do something that is negatively affects him, right? Because if you stop shopping, it negatively affects his net worth. He's not telling you go out and buy a bunch of stuff that you don't need. He's telling you not to buy stuff that you don't need. Buy necessities. Don't be a big spender right now. Just keep your cash on hand. And that's specifically what he said. Keep your cash on hand, and make sure that you're ready for these hard times, that 2023 is going to be worse than 2022. So guys, I'll leave you with that. Just realize that this stuff is continuing continually getting worse, and we are going to continually have warnings like this from big people. This one is really important, and I find this to be very telling that somebody this important and that sees this much behind the market, knows what's coming, sees what's coming, and is also telling you something that would negatively affect them if you were to follow his advice. Now, fact is, he knows not everybody's going to follow his advice. Most people that are shopping on Amazon are probably not watching this channel and not watching other channels like this. And so, guys, that's why I think that that this is very telling. And even though it's not probably going to affect his net worth at all, or certainly not in any measurable way, it is still going to. It's still very telling in that he wants you to do this and wants you to be more careful and more diligent about your spending. So I'll leave you guys with that. I do want to remind you, if you're looking for good firearms training, check us out at timberlinetacticaltraining.com. We do have our training business, everything going live here in January, and we're really looking forward to getting out and shoot some guns with you guys and doing some work with all y'all. So make sure and check us out if you guys want to book classes, and those are going to be a lot of fun, guys. We got lots of range time set up. We got classes where we come out and spend 1,000 rounds in a day and go through a ton of different drills. Really going to have a good time out there doing some gun stuff. So if you guys want to check that out, I'd encourage you to do so. Otherwise, we'll catch y'all in the next video. Thanks.